Sterling Sharpe was one of the most electrifying wide receivers to ever play in the NFL, a talent whose impact was undeniable despite his career being cut tragically short. From his early years, it was clear that Sharpe had the kind of talent that only comes around once in a generation. Drafted by the Green Bay Packers in 1988, he quickly transformed into one of the league's most feared wide receivers. He became the focal point of the Packers' offense, capable of changing games single-handedly. However, his career abruptly ended during the 1994 season, leaving everyone with a lingering question of what might have been. So, what happened to Sterling Sharpe? And what made Sterling Sharpe's rise so special? Stay with us as we uncover the story of a player who left an unforgettable mark in a remarkably brief career and reflect on how Sharpe's brilliance has echoed throughout the NFL, even years after his departure. Sterling Sharpe was born on April 6, 1965 in Chicago, Illinois, but grew up in Glenville, Georgia, a small town where football was more than just a sport, it was a way of life. His upbringing, though, wasn't without challenges. He and his siblings were raised by their grandmother after their parents separated when he was young, forcing them to navigate life without many resources. From an early age, it was clear that Sterling possessed a unique talent for sports. He excelled in multiple disciplines, including basketball and track, but it was football that captured his attention and where he would ultimately shine. He established himself as an exceptional athlete at Glenville High School, playing in various positions. He displayed a remarkable grasp of the game by lining up at wide receiver, running back, and quarterback, showcasing his flexibility. By the time he graduated, a number of college scouts had taken notice of him because of his evident athletic potential. And no wonder, he later agreed to a football scholarship at the University of South Carolina, where his innate talent would start to blossom. At South Carolina, his career was nothing short of spectacular. From the moment he arrived, it was clear he was a special player. He became the centerpiece of the game's offense, lining up as a wide receiver and quickly developing into their most reliable target. In 1986, he set a single-season school record with 1,106 receiving yards, a mark that stood for over a decade. His combination of speed, strength, and precision route running made him a nightmare for opposing defenses, and he finished his college career with 169 receptions for 2,497 yards and 17 touchdowns. By the time he left college, Sharpe had not only set records, but had also laid the foundation for a legacy that would follow him into the professional ranks. But before we get into that, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell as we continue with his early professional career. In 1988, Sterling Sharpe's life changed when the Green Bay Packers selected him as the 7th overall pick in the NFL Draft. The Packers saw something special in Sharpe, a wide receiver with the size, speed, and intelligence to transform their struggling offense. At 6 feet tall and weighing 207 pounds, he brought a physical presence to the field that complemented his quickness and sure hands. Expectations were high, and it was clear from day one that the franchise hoped he would be the spark they desperately needed. His rookie season came with its fair share of challenges, as adjusting to the NFL isn't easy for any player, no matter how talented. The Packers were in a rebuilding phase, and the team lacked consistency at quarterback, making it difficult for a young receiver to find his footing. During the 1988 season, Green Bay rotated between quarterbacks Randy Wright, Don Majkowski, and an aging Lynn Dickey. The instability at the position made it difficult for Sharpe to build chemistry, and he often found himself facing defenses that had little else to fear from the Packers' offense. Despite these obstacles, Sharpe showed flashes of brilliance and began laying the groundwork for what was to come. Even though Sharpe's rookie campaign didn't produce jaw-dropping numbers, it was clear that he possessed the tools to succeed. He finished the season with 55 receptions for 791 yards and a touchdown, solid numbers for a first-year wideout. What stood out most was his ability to make contested catches, his smooth route running, and his determination to improve every week. He was learning on the job, figuring out how to beat NFL defenses while shouldering the pressure of high expectations. His competitive nature made him a quick learner, and by the end of the season, it was obvious he was poised for a breakout. That breakout came quickly. In his second season, Sharpe had his first 1,000-yard campaign, catching 90 passes for 1,423 yards and 12 touchdowns. It was a statement to the rest of the league that he was not only a talented receiver, but also a rising star. The performance marked a turning point for the Packers, as Sharpe's dominance gave the offense an identity it had sorely lacked. His ability to rack up yards after the catch and make tough plays in critical moments made him a nightmare for opposing defenses. His early achievements set the tone for the rest of his career, establishing him as a cornerstone of the Packers' offense and one of the most promising young stars in the NFL. His rise was swift and undeniable, and despite the challenges of his rookie season, it was clear that Green Bay had found their new offensive leader. Now, Sterling Sharpe's prime years from 1988 to 1994 showcased him as one of the most dominant wide receivers in the NFL.
They're pounding the ball on the ground. Play action. Touchdown. Sterling Sharpe for Green Bay. Number 2 on the afternoon for Sharpe.
After a solid rookie season, Sharpe quickly began to separate himself from his peers. With more than 1,000 receiving yards in 5 of his 7 seasons starting in 1989, Sharpe established himself as a consistent player. He was putting on performances that changed the game, not just racking up stats. He was almost tough to defend because of his power, ability to make contested receptions, and accurate route running. Undeniably, Sharpe was the Packers' most dependable offensive option because quarterbacks understood that he could still come down with the ball even if he was covered. With time, he reached new heights in 1992 when he set an NFL record with 108 receptions, becoming the first player in league history to surpass the 100-catch mark in a season. That year, he racked up 1,461 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns, earning both Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors. The following year, Sharpe continued his dominance by becoming the first player ever to post back-to-back 100-catch seasons with 112 receptions in 1993. During his prime, he was selected to the Pro Bowl 5 times and earned multiple All-Pro honors, cementing himself as one of the most feared receivers in the game. He broke records, set milestones, and redefined what it meant to be a wide receiver in the NFL. Even when defenses knew the ball was coming his way, Sharpe's relentless play style and precise execution made it nearly impossible to stop him. His ability to produce at such a high level season after season was a testament to both his talent and his work ethic. His prime years were marked by an unmatched ability to deliver clutch performances, leaving a legacy that would influence the next generation of receivers. But then, the unfortunate happened. You see, the 1994 season was shaping up to be one of Sterling Sharpe's finest, proof to his consistency and unmatched skill on the field. Despite having already cemented his status as one of the top wide receivers in the NFL, Sharpe continued to push boundaries and produce at an elite level. He finished the season with 94 receptions for 1,119 yards and 18 touchdowns. Career best numbers in terms of touchdowns. His ability to find the end zone became one of the defining traits of that season as he routinely made crucial plays in critical moments, keeping the Packers in playoff contention. He was literally the driving force behind Green Bay's offense the whole season. Early in his career, quarterback Brett Favre mostly depended on Sharpe's skill and expertise to stabilize the passing game. Since Sharpe had emerged as Favre's most reliable target, their synergy was clear. In addition to setting a personal record, his 18 touchdowns demonstrated his exceptional ability to outperform opponents in the red zone by using his power, size, and route running. Sharpe was producing at a level that few other receivers in the NFL could match week after week. However, everything came to a devastating halt during Week 16 against the Atlanta Falcons. His neck was jarred as he took a strong blow while blocking for a teammate in what seemed to be a routine play. At first, the injury didn't appear to be a career-threatening one, but more medical assessments showed how serious the issue was. According to medical professionals, he had a serious cervical spine injury that could have paralyzed him if he played anymore. In an instant, one of the NFL's most talented players' careers came to a sudden and tragic end. The news was devastating for everyone. Few receivers could equal Sharpe's performance at age 29, who was still at the peak of his career. The prognosis was a hard pill for a player who had centered his identity around greatness, strength, and endurance. He had spent his entire life overcoming challenges, but this was one he could not power through. He was facing one of the toughest decisions an athlete can make: walk away from the game he loved or risk catastrophic injury. Ultimately, the decision to retire was made with the understanding that his health and future off the field had to come first. Despite his competitive spirit and desire to keep playing, he understood the severity of the risk. So, in December 1994, he announced his retirement, leaving behind a career that many believed still had several years of greatness ahead. Even though Sterling Sharpe only played in the NFL for 7 seasons, his career stats show how powerful he was during that time. His brief but significant career included 595 catches, 8,134 receiving yards, and 65 touchdowns. Season after season, his ability to produce at such a high pace made a lasting effect on the league and continues to provoke discussions about what could have been if his career had not ended so suddenly. Anyway, he remains one of the greatest. Even his brother admitted that.
My big brother Sterling. I'm the only pro football player that's in the Hall of Fame, and I'm the second best player in my own family.
That's all. Now have a look at this video on the scary truth about the Baltimore Ravens no one is talking about. You'll love it.